Now we go into our starts of the week for the remaining games of week 12. We're going to start with the quarterback position. Che, who have you got?
Yeah, I was really tempted to pick some other quarterbacks. I looked and I looked, and my stats said a lot of different things as far as quarterbacks. I was going to go with Geno Smith, but then I thought about it and I didn't. I was going to even go with Marcus Mariota as well against Washington, but I didn't go with that. The person who I'm going with, and I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going with Derek Carr, quarterback, Las Vegas Raiders. He's averaging 18.3.4 points PPR in his last 3 games. So his recent form has been really, really good. He's going up against the 30th ranked defense versus the quarterback in the Seattle Seahawks. And their rookie cornerback, Kobe Bryant, has been targeted a lot, especially in the Berlin game. Sorry, not the Berlin game, in the Munich game, where they faced off against the Buccaneers. Tom Brady peppered him with Chris Godwin and et al. And it seems like their secondary, the Seattle Seahawks, and the reason why I picked them, because again, I mentioned the numbers showed certain players will do decent this week, but why I think the numbers and or the eye test shows me that Derek Carr will do well is that I think the Seahawks secondary struggles with physical wide receivers. They struggle with receivers in general, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have big physical wide receivers and a tight end as well in their group matchup, in their roster. And the likes of Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, etc. And I think the Raiders have a few of them of their own. I mean, there's this one guy that I don't know if you've heard of him called Devontae Adams, but he just had a monster game against the Denver Broncos, a divisional rival, and an elite defense, and with an elite secondary led by Patrick Surtain. So I think they're on a roll right now. Derek Carr's on a roll. And also, did you see the tweet that Antonio Brown gave for Derek Carr?
Yeah, I was familiar with that. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
But Derek Carr had his comeback as well. Oh, we're eating tonight. So Derek Carr's got some fighting words there. So I like that Derek Carr. You know, I don't like the like Tim Tebow like Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr like being tenacious and stop being a son-in-law, Derek Carr. So I think he's on a roll right now, facing the 30th ranked defense. Derek Carr, quarterback, Las Vegas Raiders. That's my must start.
No problem. I mean, that's a pretty good pick, but I'll kind of go with the quarterback on the opposite side of the field, and I'll actually go with Geno Smith as he faces the Los Angeles Raiders this weekend. Early on in his career, Geno Smith was actually often ridiculed and derided for his seemingly kind of rubbish performances like he's previously with the Jets as well. However, this season, he's actually made it his year with a bevy of stellar performances. I mean, as mentioned before, this week he goes up against the Raiders, who are actually third against the blitz. Now, why is that important? Well, Geno Smith actually eats up the blitz. There are actually 3 touchdowns in the last kind of 4 games against teams who have kind of gone against the blitz. Seemingly on the other side, the Las Vegas Raiders are actually 31st in passing allowed and when blitzing. So it is definitely bombs away. And when you've got kind of receivers like DK Metcalf, like Tyler Lockett, it is absolute bombs away. And if you're going to blitz all day, he's going to definitely take what the defense gives him. And I fully expect him to have at least 2, 3, 4 touchdowns this week as they kind of come back to form coming off from a bye. So, yeah, I just think Geno Smith is an absolute smash play this week. He's played really well for the most part this year. He's looking like he's going to get paid in the offseason. And I think he'll definitely reward his team with 3, 4 touchdowns and any fantasy managers out there who are lucky enough to kind of get him.
Yeah, I think you've got a good pick there. I think again, as I mentioned before, Geno Smith it's not a bad pick. I think it's going to be a shootout, if I'm honest. You can't go wrong with either of them, to be honest. I've got my reasons for Carr, as I mentioned. You've got yours. I didn't know that about the blitz. That's an interesting take. Guys, I don't know if you picked up on it, but as Uchenna mentioned, the Raiders blitz a lot, and Geno Smith eats up the blitz. So, yeah, that's a potential bombs away. And I think that we always look offline, don't we, Uchenna, like at the games, and we have a group chat, and we always have a little banter about potential low-key shootouts, and this smells of one. I don't know about you, but this smells of one.
Yeah, definitely. Both teams have that mentality of pass first, and to be fair, both teams actually have good dynamic runners in Walker and Josh Jacobs. So I'm fully expecting this game to be in the 30s, possibly even 35, 40 mark, and I think there are plenty of points, plenty of fantasy points. They're going to be up for grabs in this game. So yes, it's definitely we've kind of outlined two of our quarterback picks, but as mentioned, as always, it is entirely up to you who you pick.